and Mess It Up on BBC Radio London.
So I thought, you know what, this is actually a really interesting topic because...
I think she's amazing.
One story that really caught my attention this week.
My story relates to a particular TV
Week in Review.
Absolutely, it's time for Week in Review, and we've got some friends of Radio London. They've popped into the studio to delve into their stories of the week. I'm joined in the studio. I've got James Erskine, who is the CEO of Rocket. You can get further details on wearerocket.co.uk. You can also find him on X, formerly known as Twitter, under James Erskine as well. That's ERSKINE. Also joining me in the studio today, I have Carrie Brooks, who is a life coach. And if you'd like further details for her, then you can go to her website, carriebrooks.co.uk, and that's CARRIE for further details. Carrie, James, great to have you both here.
Yay, lovely to be here.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having us.
It's always lovely to have you both in the studio. Firstly, how have you been, James?
Yeah, really well. Life's good. I'm embracing sobriety.
Nice.
I have 112 days without a drink, so that feels a moderate
Congratulations.
success. Thank you. I was just talking to Carrie outside, actually, and that's giving a whole new perspective on things. So ready for our conversation about sober raving in a little bit.
I was been mentioning it throughout the show, actually, because I think some people think, what do you mean sober raving? So listen, firstly, I know you've been really open here on Radio London talking about, your sobriety. So I just want to say a happy sobriety, because I know
you very
that's
much.
been very important for you to talk about.
Has. Yeah.
And so we'll delve into that story in a sec. But also, Carrie, how have you been?
Yeah.
Just for our listeners, you've got a new hairstyle. You've gone shorter.
I've gone shorter. I lost about 6-7 inches off my hair. It just needed a change.
Looks lovely.
Thank you very much. It takes a bit of when the scissors first chop off that amount of hair. But I always feel that it's good to embrace change.
Yes.
And also with yourself, like, do a little bit of a change, cut your hair,
Yeah.
do a new hair colour, get some new clothes, just shift things a bit, because it energises.
Well, because it's so funny, because actually on Monday I was saying to the team, I was like, I don't know, I think I might get my fringe back. And they all went, no, maybe not. I was like, okay, maybe I'll get like a side fringe or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want something different in my hair as well, actually. But we shall see.
You've got beautiful long hair.
Oh, thank you. But the thing is, as you both know, I always have it tied up in the studio, because I have these headphones on and off my head daily.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, if I have my hair down, then it's going to get really caught up. Does that make sense?
It is.
But listen, the hair looks lovely. Yours looks very nice.
Thank you very much.
I don't know. I'd be like, if my hair was that short, I'd be like, where is it all gone?
It still feels weird.
Does it?
It
When you
still
comb
feels weird.
Yeah.
When I'm sort of sleeping and I go, where's my hair?
Yeah.
And when I wash my hair, it's just like, that's really easy.
But it always grows back. That's the thing.
That's
isn't it?
what I always say.
Grows back.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, there's quite an array of stories to delve into today. Shall we start off, just because you mentioned it there, I feel like let's get straight into it with the sober raving, because a lot of people don't know about this, Carrie, and I know you want to talk about it as well, James. So tell us more about this sober raving story.
So basically, let me just get the story up. So this comes under the umbrella of how people basically with stressful jobs decompress. So, these are different people. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because most of us are so busy in our lives with our work, maybe our children, family commitments, all these things. And what happens is that what I call the good stuff gets pushed to the side. And what I mean about the good stuff is doing something for the sheer pleasure and enjoyment of something, for the sheer, love of it.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Which is so important for us, and it's so important for our emotional and psychological well-being. And this article is good because these people have found something that they do which allows them to decompress. And what happens is that when we manage to find something that really helps us in this way, what happens is that we actually are much happier and have much more positive energy to put into the rest of our lives.
And so what's your thoughts on this then, James?
I am in a very interesting place. I wanted to get more of the good stuff. I was realising that everything in my calendar and in my diary was surrounded by having a drink or something like that. And I was realising it was having a negative effect on the rest of my life. So I'm not born again. I'm not preachy. I'm doing it very much for me and for my children, if you like. And I just wanted to be more present in the moment. Now, what that can't mean, to Carrie's point, is you cut everything out of your diary, because you've still got to have a social life. You've still got to have things to look forward to. I'm speaking as someone that went to see the Chemical Brothers at the O2 on Saturday night.
Nice.
Something I don't think I would have ever been able to do without a drink or without something to enhance the experience. And I managed to do it. And
did you enjoy it?
I loved it. I've found it really good, and now I know I can do live music sober. It's opened up a whole new opportunity or number of opportunities for me to go out and really embrace it and really enjoy it. So I'm right there with Carrie's thoughts about a stressful existence can be made less stressful without
some kind of substance.
Exactly.
It's quite interesting, isn't it? Because I think for a lot of people, when you're working, you've got the family, there are so many various commitments that basically does mean the only real way to kind of, just as you say, decompress or relieve some stress is by going out for a drink. But these kind of like the fact that there are now judgment-free sober raves, is it making it just more normal? Because I remember when I used to work in the city, if we'd go out after work, if I said, oh yeah, I'll have a glass of water or I'll have a cup of tea, everyone would frown at me like, what do you mean you don't drink alcohol, you're not going to have a glass of something? And I think if I was maybe a person who is prone to be intimidated, I probably would have been intimidated into a drink, but it would just make me more arrogant and say, yeah, I'm quite fine, thank you.
Yeah.
But those looks of judgment I did definitely feel upon me. And do you think that now we're in a kind of time where people are more susceptible for you to be out, but you don't have to have a drink?
Oh, absolutely. I've noticed with my clients, a lot of them are choosing to go sober, and it's not necessarily because they have a drink problem, but they realise that they want an alternative to life. And what I was referring to before with the good stuff is that it doesn't involve going out for a drink necessarily. It's about doing something that brings you joy. And, drinking is a bit of a culture that we have here. As you know, I'm Italian, so in Italy you have alcohol with a meal, before the meal, during the meal and after the meal. So it's a very, very different attitude to alcohol. Whereas here there is that sort of, tendency can be just to let's just go and get wasted. And what I'm finding is there are more opportunities like this sober raving. So one of these people in this article, who's an event planner, which is a very, very stressful job, actually. She says that sober raving, the vibe is beautiful and makes you feel so good. So she does this at the House of Happiness, which is in London. She says it's just like any night out, but the key difference is no alcohol. And she goes and dances there. And dance is a fantastic way of de-stressing. Strictly's on. So why not go to a dance class and try that out? And the good thing is I do salsa dancing of not always, but I have in the past. And you can turn up on your own. You don't need to turn up in a past. And I tell you what, you go to a salsa class, there for a couple of hours, you come out beaming.
Yes, it's a really good point. Do you agree though that there's oftentimes a lot of judgment if you don't drink?
I
James?
absolutely do, but I do think it's changing. I speak as the manager of a business, and we, for our company socials, you have to find socials that don't just revolve around a drinks trolley these days.
Yes.
We've done art as a team. We've had a magician come into the office to entertain the team, constantly looking for things that aren't just let's go to the nearest pub. There's some of that happens as well.
Yeah.
But you've got to provide an alternative so it doesn't just revolve around drinking. So, and I think that's becoming more and more normal.
So interesting, isn't it? Because I would just be like, I'm going out raving, but now I'd have to say I'm sober raving.
Yes.
Which is now a term.
Yes.
I'd not heard of it as an actual thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, people like myself who, are alcohol free have been for the last 20 years. It's like, that's my normal.
There we
Yeah.
are.
But it's nice. It's becoming a bit more. What would you say? Is it becoming mainstream, James? Is that what we're saying here?
I wouldn't say mainstream yet, but
Okay.
I would say there is a understanding and it is becoming more of a societal norm.
Okay, I like it. Well, I'm going to play this now. I can see clearly now. We'll continue having a chat with the guest straight after this.